the best unu.
Odugwa di go kosi ade.
Macron can mepel unu afu. The one I didn't show you, you will not see. Odumegwu apotego mmụọ today.
Yes.
Odumegwu mmụọ.
Yes.
Odu can send their son to you. Welcome.
Admin of Odumegwu. Nnekwu mmadụ ka ebo. Nnekwu mmadụ ka ebo. Prove go that na n'isere ihe eji aga ije. Wee sị gị that na ebupụtara m nke ka ibubo. Biafra bụ obodo nsọ.
After God, now
Biafra bụ ana nsọ.
Yes.
Maka anyị malụ ihe Chineke kere n'ala Biafra.
Yes.
Onye Trump melo chief of staff.
Asị na dike nwa eze anaghị akwa na mba.
The Dragon Master.
Maka na afụnube m ụdị a before. Mana ebere m nkwado. Ofe Nigeria sị ha. Unu je bupute the best unu.
Odugwa di go kosi ade.
Macron can mepel unu afu. The one I didn't show you, you will not see. Odumegwu apotego mmụọ today.
Yes.
Odumegwu mmụọ.
Yes.
Odu can send their son to you. Welcome.
Admin of Odumegwu. Nnekwu mmadụ ka ebo. Nnekwu mmadụ ka ebo. Prove go that na n'isere ihe eji aga ije. Wee sị gị that na ebupụtara m nke ka ibubo. Biafra bụ obodo nsọ.
After God, now
Biafra bụ ana nsọ.
Yes.
Maka anyị malụ ihe Chineke kere n'ala Biafra.
Yes.
Onye Trump melo chief of staff.
Asị na dike nwa eze anaghị akwa na mba.
The Dragon Master.
Maka na afụnube m ụdị a before.
Yes.
Unu kpọtara mmụọ.
Yes.
Ihe m ga-agwa unu taa bụ na struggle a echenjigo from this moment. Because of this single display, aga m eme ihe nchọburu ime in 2 months to come. Ọ ga-ebu ime bụ ozugbo. Mark my word. Agwa m unu na Nigeria edego ihe niile ha ga-ede. Then the only na ga send na Finland. Someone help me. Nke na warm up na-eme press up maka ihe ga-eme after December. Mana ọ ga-ebido mebe n'oge maka na anyị ga-eji ehihie chọwa ewu ojii tupu chejie. The Biafra land will never allow the enemies of our people, our culture, our belief and way of life to seek to live the next minute. The earlier they pack their bag and baggages and leave our land for the defense of our women and children, the better for them. Nigeria, na convention, but can you generate a legal document?
Yes.
I get you see where was wanine. Go to go ga organize Biafra. Magana I had before. Up to this today is only awareness that now we are not wanted in Nigeria.
Yes.
It is only awareness that Nigeria was not created to favor every indigenous person within that Niger area. And so it is for the best interest of everybody that we go our separate ways to develop ourselves in the best way possible. So we can value and recognize our culture, our differences, and develop our land ourselves and compete among nations. Where criminals and fraudsters will not be vying into positions with the money they stole from America. That is what we are fighting for.
Yes.
All of you remember those who promised to bring 25 Helios cars to kill our people in Biafra land. They are all involved in the internet scam.
Yeah.
Those who was bragging how they will bring the Helios from Abuja to stop us, they are all involved. The local government chairman that was arrested by the FBI on multi-million-dollar fraud, they are all together. They are the people bragging how they are going to bring Helios to kill our people in Anambra. Today, where are they? Na nke mmerụ joyi mmekwa ọzọ. Ejiro m anya ọma wee pụta Biafra. Ebu m ike wee bịa ọgụ a. And no more going to end this fight. We are going to to our next generation. Onye ọbụla ga-afụ ya n'anya. Onye si na ya ga ha nọ ndụ wee bịa Biafra bịa. Ya kwado dịkwa weel ya. Maka anyị ejide ha ga na-ejide gị. Ọdịmegwu unu kpọrịta dike today.
ụbọchị nketa obodo kwesị bụ zuu Naijiria. Lekwa Naijiria ma dọsa ya Chineke nnadị ngosi. Onye ọbụla na-ekpe ekpere ka Naijiria wee wuru ofu nna nke ebere jide ndị dị etu a wee laa ha n'iyi. Chineke nna kiwe biko da kiwe kpọọ ha ọkụ. Kpọọ ha ọkụ kpọọ ezinụlọ ha ọkụ. Ka ha ra ha gbanyeghị ndị ha bụ ọbụladị ndị ụkọchukwu onye ọbụla mehụrụ ọnụ ma kulie wee sị na ọ ga-adịrị Naijiria na mma, ọ ga-adịrị onye ahụ na mma na ezinụlọ na mma site o si wee na-eme n'ụbọchị nketa obodo kwesị bụ zuu Naijiria. Lekwa Naijiria ma dọsa ya Chineke nnadị ngosi. Onye ọbụla na-ekpe ekpere ka Naijiria wee wuru ofu nna nke ebere jide ndị dị etu a wee laa ha n'iyi. Chineke nna kiwe biko da kiwe kpọọ ha ọkụ. Kpọọ ha ọkụ kpọọ ezinụlọ ha ọkụ. Ka ha ra ha gbanyeghị ndị ha bụ ọbụladị ndị ụkọchukwu onye ọbụla mehụrụ ọnụ ma kulie wee sị na ọ ga-adịrị Naijiria na mma, ọ ga
welcome. I was in a walk. We have very program. I appreciate everyone that have connected wherever you are connecting from. Please like and share the program. Share to your friends, share to your families. As we are drawing close to that very D-Day, we must continue to prepare ourselves for what is coming. As the time is drawing very close, do not say you did not hear. Do not say you are not told. We need to be very, very careful at this point in time, what we say and what we do, because Biafra is going to be restored. As we draw closer to the declaration of Biafra, I urge every Biafran, wherever you are, to continue to pay attention to what is going on. Do not allow anybody to deceive you when they will tell you, oh, Mazen Nandekano did not support, Mazen Nandekano is this or that. Mazen Nandekano decision is something that we all know. While he was with us, he made it clear that it's either Biafra or death. And he has never, ever changed from that very decision. And he will never change by the special grace of Kabia. Wherever you are as a Biafran, that thing you have been praying for and asking for a very long time, it is here. Prepare yourself to embrace it. There is nothing that will stop the restoration of independent state of Biafra. It does not matter what the enemies are saying. Their propaganda doesn't matter. Their blackmail doesn't matter. What we know is Biafra must be restored. It is a must. We are not begging anybody. And without Chukwu Okukabamara, he has given us somebody who is equal to the task. So we will all continue to do our own part and do what we have to do to see that Nigeria ends. We cannot continue to pretend that this Nigeria will work. Everybody that knows Nigeria knows that it will not work. And there's no point pretending about it. That is why today we are speaking on different platforms. We are speaking louder than ever, letting the whole world know that the end of the zoological republic have come. We will end it by fire, by force. It must end. The decision of the Biafrans will always stand. And we have never ever changed from our decision. The Zoological Republic is a country that is not supposed to be. The zoo is not supposed to live for the next second. No responsible man will support the zoo to continue to exist. But because of the atrocities and evil people who are filled everywhere in different posts, because the heart of men are evil, some people will still continue to pretend that the zoo is going to work. You and I know that it's not going to work. And we will not continue to pretend about it. That is why I'm calling on all Biafrans, wherever you may be. You must wake up from your sleep. Support the Biafran government now, not tomorrow. Begin to contribute to Biafran government now. If you don't start now, I don't know when you're going to start. We must free Biafra. And the time is now. We have come a very long way, and we will continue to remind you of where we are coming from and give you updates on what we are supposed to know. Never give up. They will try to discourage us. In one way or the other, they will try to discourage us, but we will never allow their discouragement to get us. I can see my beloved sister, Linda TV show. Thank you so much, my sister, for being here. I appreciate you. My fellow Biafrans that are watching this program, the Restoration of Independent State of Biafra Declaration is coming up very soon. We have few days to go. Today is the 15th of November. We have few days to go. The convention is starting on the 29th of November till 3rd of December. On the 2nd, the declaration will be made. And things will never be the same again. Wherever you are watching us from, I urge you to please do not allow anybody to distract you or deceive you. Do not say you were not told or you are not warned. There is no other way than the way we are passing now. Nothing else will save you except the Biafran government. That is why we must continue to pay attention to the Prime Minister of Biafra, Republic of Nigeria, Simon Ekpa. And today we are going to play one of his messages for us to pay attention. I do not want us to get distracted. I do not want us to say we have forgotten. That is why I always try to take us back to the messages in the past, so that we will have updates. In case we have forgotten, we remind ourselves where we are coming from and where we are going, because we are not supposed to forget. This is not the time to ignore messages. This is not the time to ignore information. Every single information is very, very important. And we must put it in our hearts. Because we are in a very dangerous time, very delicate time. You must always remember the words of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa, and also remember the words of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that consistency is the key. If you believe that consistency is the key, you will pay attention to every single instruction, and you will not be deceived. My fellow Biafrans, prepare yourself. For those of us who are going to make it to Finland, get yourself ready to make history. If you cannot make it to Finland, you can equally support. You can give your support. Very important. You can give your support in one way or the other for the restoration of independence of Biafra. More especially financial support. You know, Biafra is going to host the whole world. This convention is not only for Biafrans. Important personalities are coming. And the Biafrans are going to host them. So many of them, Biafran government is sponsoring them. So you know that the government have a responsibility. And they need your support. Try as much as possible to play your own part, no matter how small, no matter how big. Whatever you can do to support your government, do it now. Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow might be too late. My fellow Biafrans, I welcome every single one of you that have joined this program. And I say, may Chukwu Abiyama continue to guide and protect you. We have signed up to continue to bring updates on what is happening in Biafra land. That is something we have signed up for. And we will continue to bring updates. Everything that has to do with Biafra, we will bring it to you. And I want you to know that every information is important. Do not ignore any information. Every information is important. Our football club, Biafra Football Club, are going to start their march by 5 p.m. Biafra time. 5 p.m. Biafra time, our football team is going to start their march. You know, when our Prime Minister talked about the football team, some of them thought it was a propaganda. They thought it's a blackmail. They thought it's just a Photoshop like them themselves. You know, they are very good in Photoshop. So anything somebody does, they will call it a Photoshop. But in this era, we don't get involved in anything Photoshop. This is Biafra national team you are watching. This is the dressing room for the Biafra national team. They're going to play their match, and the match is going to start by 5 p.m. Biafra time. 5 p.m. Biafra time. As soon as we get the match, we will try to bring it so that everybody will watch. This is the national team of Biafra. You see the dressing room? So we give you update. It is not a joke. Some of you think it's a joke. It's not a joke. Our Prime Minister and the Biafran government are doing everything humanly possible to promote the cause of Biafra. And our national team is going out for a match for the very first time. Biafra national team is going out for a match for the very first time, represented in an international match. International match. And you are going to see them in action. So wherever you are, try to tune in so that you can join. This is our national team. They have arrived the venue already. The Biafra national team, they have arrived the venue where the match will be played. This is Biafra national team. You can see them. They have already arrived the ground where the match will be played. And you see them going out to engage and prepare themselves. When we talk about this, some of them think we are just talking. They call us noisemaker. They think we are just making noise. But it is becoming much more clearer. Biafra national team with players across the world who has come to represent Biafra. I urge every one of you to pay attention closely. You are going to see them in action. By 5 p.m., 5 p.m., we will try to stream the match if we can be able to get it. We'll try to bring it so that you can watch. So, my fellow Biafrans, you must prepare and support your country. Some people will be in the United States of Biafra and they will be asking, when is this your Biafra coming? They want to hear from President Trump before they believe in their own freedom. Yet, President Trump is not from Africa. Neither does he live there. Exactly. This is a very strong statement. You know, some of them, they are still looking for the Biafra when the Biafra is there with them. You can see the national team of Biafra going for an international match. You can see Biafra being represented in so many places, in so many organizations of the world. And yet somebody is there waiting for a foreigner to announce to him that he's going to be free. Instead of you taking your own freedom, all they have to do is to confirm. You have to take your freedom, declare it, and others will confirm. But unfortunately, some people will be in the United States of Biafra and they will be asking, when is this your Biafra coming self? They want to hear from President Trump before they believe in their own freedom. Yet, President Trump is not from Africa, neither does he live there. The same people will come and tell you, Master Simon Ekpa is not a Biafran. For that, he will not fight for Biafra. But they are waiting for President Trump to declare Biafra for them. Bunch of clowns and idiots. We must continue, and our freedom cannot be truncated or stopped. So every one of us should tune in when the match starts so that we can be able to carry everyone along. My fellow Biafrans that are watching, wherever you are watching this program from, I urge you in the name of Chukwu Okokabiyama, do not get distracted or do not get deceived. Don't allow the propaganda of the enemies to deceive you. They will cry and cry and cry until they cannot cry anymore. As they continue to cry, we will continue to do exploits. While they are busy crying and crying and crying, we are busy making progress. They will never, ever, ever catch us. My fellow Biafrans, let us hear this message from our Prime Minister. Let us use it and wait for time, because we are going to close our broadcast very early so that we can go and prepare for the match, because I want to watch the match too. The match is going to start by 5 p.m. Biafra time. So we'll close the program early so that people can go and prepare to watch the match. Let's hear this message from our Prime Minister.
I welcome all of you to this evening space by the Prime Minister of Biafra on the Biafra government ready to ratify the United Nations International Human Rights Treaties during the Biafra Convention in Finland. So I welcome every one of you, fellow Biafrans, friends, well-wishers, and lovers of freedom. I want you to understand that the Biafra government will offer alternative to what Nigeria deprived you. One of the alternatives we are offering to the Biafra people is the ratification and assent to the United Nations human rights treaties. This will be rectified during the convention to form a legal base for the Biafra government recognition by United Nations and beyond. Like I have informed you all, for those who do not know what we are doing and why this convention is very important at this point and why it has become the only pathway to Biafra freedom. For those who will be wondering, what are they doing? Why are they declaring or why are they having convention in exile? That's why we are called the government in exile. So we will restore the lost sovereign state of Biafra from exile. And if you do not know, for those asking who have done it before, we are laying the precedents for others to follow. Those who care, they will learn from us. First of all, I would like to give a little background on the importance of Biafra government providing alternative to the human right which Nigeria terrorist government has violated with impunity. Every one of you remember when one of the UN working group called Working Group on Arbitrary Detention demanded the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and mandated Nigeria terrorist state to release him within 6 months. After this particular ultimatum was given by a UN certified group called the Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, monetary compensation was also awarded by this group. Nigeria snubbed, ignored, and violated this ultimatum. And so I would like to start laying this background of the importance of the assent or ratifying the Treaty of the United Nations and abide by it, which Nigeria have violated for decades with impunity. So Biafra will be a better alternative for every humankind who wish to be in a civilized world. And Biafra will be a model for other African states who are tyrannic, who does not know the rule of law, who are not democratic. Biafra will be a model for them to learn. So when we ratify these treaties, we will make sure that Biafra become the only African country that will lay a foundation and make a model for other countries to learn. So, and by doing that, it will go a long way in restoring peace, lasting peace in Africa when others learn how to abide by the rule of law and also how to abide and respect the treaties that you signed into law as a country and as a state. Any country without rule of law, any country that does not respect constitution, that country is bound to fail. And that's why Nigeria has failed. Nigeria has no rule of law. Nigeria does not respect its so-called constitution. Nigeria does not respect any treaty that they have signed into law. Nigeria does not respect the United Nations Convention on Human Rights. Nigeria does not respect any agreement whatsoever they are into. And so that is the reason for the anarchy. That is the reason for the insecurity. Apart from the Islamic State agenda, this is the backbone of the insecurity today in Nigeria. That's why Nigeria has become ungovernable and Nigeria has become a failed state. Because they do not have the rule of law and they do not respect their own law, not to talk of treaties they are assented to. Biafra will provide a solution. One of the solutions is we will abide by these rules and norms of international treaties and convention that we will be ratifying during the convention in Finland. So, what is the working group that gave Nigeria ultimatum to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that they kidnapped from Kenya, extraordinarily rendition to Nigeria, under torture, inhumane treatment, degrading treatment, and what have you? The working group has the mandate to investigate cases of deprivation of liberty imposed arbitrarily and inconsistently with international standard set forth in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights or international instrument accepted by the state concerned. That is what this working group is all about. The working group investigates alleged cases of arbitrary detention, like in the case of thousands of Biafrans, including Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They do this by sending urgent appeal and communications to concerned governments, just like they have done to Nigeria, to clarify and or bring the attention of these cases, which they did to Nigeria. They gave Nigeria 6 months. The working group also considers individual complaints. So as you are, like those families that Nigeria have killed, murdered their relative, they can also individually file complaint directly to this particular group. Under its regular communication procedure, leading to the adoption of opinions. So when you file this complaint, they give opinions as to the arbitrariness of this detention. In addition, the working group conduct country visits to assess the situation of deprivation of liberty in the country. That is the primary objective of this working group on arbitrary detention that gave Nigeria 6 months to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and also fine Nigeria to compensate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu monetarily. Nigeria violated this opinion of the working group, which is a direct violation of the United Nations Charter on Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which Nigeria also assented and signed into their own law and accepted. They will abide by these rules and regulations that makes you stand firm in the Committee of Nations. So any country that is violating this kind of laws with impunity have lost every legitimacy, including within the United Nations. And this time Nigeria was at the UN General Assembly seeking to become a permanent member. A permanent member of organization that you violate their own laws and treaties. My fellow Biafran, I just want you to have a little background knowledge about what I'm about to explain this evening, why Biafra is bringing an alternative, not just by ratifying the United Nations International Human Rights Treaties at the convention in Finland, but also making sure that we abide by these laws and treaties to make sure we restore peace and order, because that is only pathway to peace and order in the entire region. Any country that is violating these rights with impunity is bringing anarchy, and that is the reason why there is a lot of anarchy in Nigeria, because they do not respect rule of law. They are nomadic, they are Islamic State. The only agenda is Islamic agenda. I will also need to inform you that many Islamic countries did not assent to some of these human rights treaties, and that's exactly the direction Nigeria is going. Or they are already in that direction. So Biafra is an alternative to restore peace and stability in the Sahel and beyond. My fellow Biafrans that are listening to me today, I want you to understand that at least you are going to hear from me some of these international human rights treaties of the United Nations that Biafra government will be rectifying during the convention of the Biafra in Finland. My fellow Biafrans, you may need to understand the concept of these treaties and what it bounds to do. What are the indicators of these treaties, which will become one of the backbone of the Biafra government as we pursue the recognition of the government of Biafra after the convention, after the declaration of the restoration of independence of Biafra, and we have formed a legal document from the convention, and this ratification of treaties will form a major part of the document that the Biafra government will form during the convention in Finland. So the indicator referred to as a state consent to be bound by the human rights treaties under international law. So when you as a state consent to this international treaty, you are bound. You are bound by those treaties to make sure that you stand by that treaties, and by doing so, you restore peace and stability in your country and in your region. The reason for the insecurity today, apart from the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Nigeria violated that particular treaty. They did not bound by it. So what is the rationale? When a state ratifies one of the international human rights treaty,
it assumes a legal obligation to implement the right recognized in that treaty. Do you understand the word? When a state ratifies, like Nigeria ratifies this law, Nigeria, if it's supposed to be a country, under international human rights treaty, Nigeria assumes legal obliged to implement the rights recognized in that treaty. And what are these rights? Do not commit the crime of kidnapping people. Do not commit the crime of arbitrarily detaining people. Do not commit the crime of torturing people. Do not commit the crime of depriving people their liberty. Nigeria have committed all this crime against Biafra people, especially Mazen Amdekan. And they are still standing on this crime that if heaven is going to fall, let it fall. That's where we are today. We are still settling the matter. Now, through ratification, states undertake to put in place domestic measures and legislation compatible with their treaty obligation. The state also commit to submitting regular report on how the rights are being implemented to the monitoring committee set up under the treaty. Now, how can Nigeria now submit a report on how they are implementing this right, which they signed into, by arbitrarily detaining Mazen Amdekan, detaining thousands of Biafrans illegally? So they are going to write a report that, oh, you know, Biafrans are agitating, so we catch them, we kidnap some of them, we distribute them to different parts of northern Nigeria, and they are not going to court. As a matter of fact, we have thousands of Biafrans inside the prison, and there is no trial, and some of them have been there for 20 years. Is that the report they are going to write to the United Nations? In accordance with the treaty Nigeria signed? The answer is no. They can't even write the report. Not to talk of writing what they are doing. So Biafra is coming to ratify these particular treaties and provide solution and alternative to Nigeria. That's what we're doing, to make sure we safeguard the life of our people, and no said human being can have a contrary opinion or go against Biafra becoming a nation, in order to restore peace and stability in the entire Sahel region by following this particular rules and regulation of the international law. So you see, the reason we are sacrificing everything, taking the risk we are taking, is for humanity. So everybody can at least enjoy some level of peace. Now, this particular concept of the international treaties mandates the state to also commit to submitting regular report on how the rights are being implemented to the monitoring committee set up under the treaty. Who are this committee? The working group is part of the committee set up by this particular treaty. The committee that have mandated Nigeria to release Mazen Amdekan, not only Mazen Amdekan, but his own case is more of, getting an international attention. Now, this committee, Nigeria, for ratifying this particular treaty, is mandated to submit a report to this committee that they are snubbed, violated their own ultimatum with impunity. So, which face would Nigeria use to challenge the Biafra government when we are here to say enough is enough with your impunity, enough is enough with your supporting of terrorism? We are not even talking about them funding terrorism, giving them guns and arms to fight and kill indigenous people to take over their land in the name of Islamic State. We are not even talking about that yet. We are talking about only the arbitrary detention of innocent citizens, so-called innocent citizens, arbitrary detention of those who were exercising their right protected under this United Nations treaty. That is what we are still addressing. We are not addressing their terrorism and how they are killing people, extrajudicial killings and all that. No, we are only talking about this particular detention of innocent people. How Nigeria violates this law with impunity that lead to the anarchy that you see today. Because the solution to prevent anarchy, to prevent instability, has been laid down in all these principles and treaties that we are going to assent to. And once you begin to violate it, you are opening and creating a loophole for anarchy to come in, because people are going to resist it. When you violate people's rights, using gun and bullet, think you can use them to suppress them for a long time. No, at a point, they will fight back. And that is why I am leading the fighting back against Nigeria today. And I will stand anywhere, anytime in the world to defend how I am leading the pushback to fight against the terrorist state of Nigeria with our guns and bullets. What is the concept of this treaty? A state party to a treaty is a state that has expressed consent by an act of ratification, accession, or succession, and where the treaty has entered into force, or a state about to become a part that provided a preliminary endorsement of the instrument and its intent to examine the treaty domestically and consider ratifying it. No action means that a state did not express its consent. Nigeria expressed its consent in ratifying these treaties that they are now violating, and Biafra is the only alternative to bring to an end to the impunity. I want to quickly inform the entire Biafra people some of the international human rights treaty under the United Nations that Biafra government will ratify through the convention in Finland on the 2nd of December. I want to inform you, we are not only declaring the restoration of Biafra on the 2nd of December, but we are also ratifying the United Nations international human rights treaties and become party to these treaties to abide by these rules and regulations in order to restore peace and stability. Nigeria have not done that for decades. We are going to provide that solution. So, on this note, the Biafra people will gather in the convention alongside with many observers that will be coming from all over the world to observe the convention of the Biafra government, both in the homeland and in diaspora in exile. On that day, Biafra will ratify the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, which was adopted in 1965. On the 2nd of December 2024, as we declare the restoration of the sovereign state of Biafra, Biafra will ratify the United Nations International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which was found in 1966. My fellow Biafrans and the good people of the world that are listening and are very, very sympathetic to the cause of Biafra people, I want you to understand that Biafra will be the beginning of civilization in Africa. We have suffered enough. Our people have been killed, and those who made it alive today should go and thank their God that they are alive to witness this particular history that we are making in this generation. On the 2nd of December 2024, that historic day, Biafra will ratify the United Nations International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. My fellow Biafrans, I want you to understand what we are doing. For those who think that this is a joke, you will understand after 2nd of December. My fellow Biafrans, on 2nd of December, the Biafra government will ratify and assent to the United Nations Convention Against Torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, which came into force in 1984. On the 2nd of December 2024, Biafra government will assent and rectify the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Child, which came into force in 1989. We are laying this foundation for those who do not understand how Biafra will restore stability in the entire region, to understand that only by the rule of law that sanity will return to the region of the West Africa largest resources. On the 2nd of December 2024, during the convention that will shape the history of Africa, Biafra government will assent and rectify the United Nations International Convention on the Protection of Rights of all migrant workers and members of their families, which came into force in 1990. My fellow Biafrans, On the 2nd of December, we are not just only declaring the restoration of independence state of Biafra to raise a legal document, but we are also assenting as a government, ratifying the United Nations International Convention for Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance. Today, Nigeria is known for enforcing the disappearance of those who criticize it, who criticize the government, those who criticize the leaders, those who criticize officials. They enforce their disappearance. Just a few days ago, we listened to one of the lawmakers bragging to a taxi driver how he can make him disappear, and nobody will talk about it anymore. It happens. Thousands of people have been disappeared as a result of them criticizing the government officials. While Nigeria was party to this treaty, they encourage and use their law enforcement agencies to violate it. Biafra is bringing alternative. How can you come against the Biafra government? We are people that embrace the future and innovation. So we are going to abide by this international covenant, international law, and international treaty, making sure that it is a pathway to restore peace and stability. On the 2nd of December 2024, the Biafra government will not only declare the restoration of independence of Biafra to restore peace and stability in the Sahel region, but we are also going to assent and ratify the Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability, my fellow Biafrans, on the 2nd of December. When you hear them say December 2nd will come, a lot is going to happen that day. It's going to be one of the most important days in the history of humankind. The Biafra government, during this convention on the 2nd of December, will ratify and assent to the United Nations optional protocol to the Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. My fellow Biafrans, on that same day, 2nd of December, the Biafra government will also ratify and assent up to the optional protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. My fellow Biafra people and the lovers of freedom across the world, we are solidifying the legal document that will form the pathway to the recognition of the Biafra as a government, as a state, and then also to bring in lasting peace to the already deteriorating security situation in the Sahel and in the region of the eastern part of Nigeria called Biafra. My fellow Biafrans, on the 2nd of December, the Biafra government will be ratifying and assenting to the United Nations second optional protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. And our aim is the abolition of the death penalty. This particular convention aiming at the abolition of death penalty, Biafra government will assent and ratify this treaty. In Finland, which we have taken models from the constitution and many structures of the government, we do not have death penalty. And here, everybody is enjoying, and the government is working for the people. Crime rate is very low. My fellow Biafran, on the 2nd of December, the Biafra government, during the convention, will ratify and assent to the United Nations optional protocol to the Convention on the elimination of discrimination against women, which came into force in 1999. The Biafra government will ratify and assent to this convention and treaty. My fellow Biafra, the Biafra government, under my leadership as a prime minister, during the convention in Finland on the 2nd of December 2024, will also ratify and assent to the United Nations optional protocol to the Convention on the Right of the Child on the involvement of children in armed conflict. We will ratify this treaty and abide by it, not like the Nigeria terrorist state are doing in the northern Nigeria. On this 2nd of December 2024, as we declare raising a document for the restoration of independence of Biafra, the Biafra government will ratify and consent to the United Nations optional protocol to the Convention on the Right of Child on the sales of children, child prostitution, and child pornography. Like under Nigeria, these are not crimes. Why Nigeria accepts and signed into these particular treaties, they do not even know the value. They do not know the value in the society. They do not know how it helped to shape in society to become a better society like you have in Europe. Like one of the criminals in IPOB, Nigeria, was surprised why Simon Ekpa is making all these utterances in the name of fighting Biafra and nobody is disturbing him. But his uncle shared a nude of a child in Germany, and he has been in the court for the past 5 years. As a Nigeria criminal, this man does not understand that sharing any child pornography is a serious crime. And here is where that particular law was derived from. Under this particular treaty, under the United Nations, the optional protocol to the Convention on the Right of the Child on the Sales of Children and Child Prostitution and Child Pornography. He didn't know it's a crime because he is a product of Nigeria. So Nigeria does not respect international law, and that is the reason. That's one of the reasons that are anarchy, insecurity, and all manner of atrocities in Nigeria, and they do not see most of these things as crime. So they come to Europe, they commit these crimes, and they are wondering why police is after them. We will ratify these laws, teach the people what is right and wrong, and make our society a sane and more saner place to live. My fellow Biafrans, on the 2nd of December, alongside other dignitaries that will embrace our convention all over the world, they will witness and observe the Biafra government assent and ratifying the United Nations optional protocol to the Convention on the Right of Child on a communication procedure. We will also, on that 2nd of December, ratify the United Nations optional protocol on the Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman, and Degrading Treatment or Punishment. The Biafra government will not only do consent to all these protocols, convention, and optional protocols of the United Nations, but also we are going to ratify the United Nations optional protocol to the Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability. I want you to understand that there are many international instruments that the Biafra government will consent to and make sure we uphold this treaty, not just consenting and ratifying it like Nigeria did and other Islamic terrorist states, but we are going to make sure that we follow these particular laws because it is the only pathway to peace. Once you uphold this law, the rule of law, and abide by the treaties, it is actually shaping to restore peace, stability, tranquility, and all manner of harmony that you can enjoy as a nation. That's the difference between the Europe and Africa. And like I said, because we have come here, there is no other tribe, there is no other nation in the world that is widely traveled like the Biafra people. And not only that we are traveled, we are also in the government in different countries of our residence. We participate in the nation building, and we have learned a lot, and we want to now bring it to build our nation, to make it the beginning of civilization in Africa.
My fellow Biafrans, you have heard this resounding message. It's important that we go back to this message and play them over and over again for you to have an update. My fellow Biafrans, we are going to stop the program here so that we can go and prepare for the march. Our under-19 national team. Under-19 national team are going to start their march by 5 p.m. Biafran time. 5 p.m. So let us go and prepare for the march and join them and support them on that very competition. Biafra will never carry last. We are always performing excellently where we are. So wherever you are, prepare for what is coming. And we keep on coming here to remind you of what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. We must not give up. The restoration of Biafra is a mandate that must come. And our team, we have to pray with them and share them up. Our national team, under 19, they are going to commence their march by 5 p.m. Biafra time, as I said. And we have to share them up. By special grace of Chukwu Kabiama, once I get the link, I'm going to share it so that everybody can join and support our national team. Thank you so much for being part of this program. I appreciate everyone that have participated in the program. Thank you for your support. Please like and share the program to family and friends. Share the program to everyone that is close to you. And make sure you join the fundraising tomorrow to support our Liberation Army. The fundraising tomorrow to support our Liberation Army, make sure you join the fundraising. That is the only way we can be able to overcome these challenges. The Biafran government have no sponsorship. No government is sponsoring Biafra. No organization is sponsoring it. It's only you and I. And we will continue to do our own part to see that the restoration of Biafra becomes a reality. My fellow Biafrans, may Chukwu Okike Abiyama guide and protect every one of you that is watching wherever you are watching from. I pray that Chukwu Okike Abiyama will guide and protect us, secure us and save us. Pray that Chukwu Okike Abiyama will guide and protect our Liberation Army. Chukwu Okike Abiyama will guide and protect our Prime Minister Mazi Simon, protect our Supreme Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Everything we lay our hand, we shall prosper. Thank you so much for being part of this program. Let's prepare and go for the game. Stay blessed. I will see you again as soon as the program is on.
Biafra, the land of the rising sun. Ndane kumakahabo. Ndi Biafra. Umu check up. Israel na Africa. Na the Gulf of Guinea. Hey! Biafra is sure. His Excellency Mazi Simon Eba Joko, the Prime Minister of Biafra Republic. Omogin anabata in Europe. Aina sigin no. Obato bienke Biafra. Onye ngungu akwa umu Biafra. Otwari nke Biafra. Anu nkankamki. Mmejiri gbago onye rasi na odiro nko. Oche na mo. Odinkankamire. Umene me Fulani. The end of Nigeria. You are the Joshua of Biafra. You are leading us to the promised land. Biafra government in exile. The cabinet members of the government in exile. The de facto government in the homeland. Ainsunu disiteo. Oga barunu. Obuna godonyi sinafuzo. Na fumpo onu naba. Disike n'ọrụ. Kalo. Ohamadike one of Biafra. Dike Anakogunanya, the Black Messiah. Ogugu bara Nigeria n'olu. Hello, Abun Sobu. Kabupo, Abun Sobu. The symbol of African freedom. The once living apostle of truth. Nigerian prison cannot break your spirit. You are the Moses of Biafra. We remember our eternal leader, Dim Chukwemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. He came by Newi. You die, but your spirit is fighting for your children. You are our godfather, the Abraham of Biafra. We cannot forget you, our own. Philip Effiong, Onu Bara Anyalfa, the one that gave us our name. You are dead, but your spirits are alive. I got Ulana Biafra, the promised land. I got into Webu Biafra. I can Chuku Obasinke Gwe Onye Twanyala Nala Heperayanankwa. I got Webu Wena. Wayo, where wayo bara megua. Aha, abia, yegwa abia, ya, yegwa nyagwa yina kaya kwenisi, yegwa ijana, Welianaga Obobi Anamania Omo Biafra ne wongo Israel ne wongo Owo kainjana Hey That's so Ayala Omo Biafra n'ala. Anyị n'ala n'ala nsọ. Ngwanụ ka anyị lawa. Aka mkpuchi ọnwa. Aka mkpuchi ọnwa. We are unstoppable. We are indefatigable. The 14 states of Biafra. Ngwanu. Anyana. Iye chidere. Odego ya. Chidera yi Biafra. Anyala wala. Mandi no n'obodo Igbo. Mandi no na Nigeria. Mandi no na mba ụwa ọzọ dị iche iche. Obi Kadawala. All of you Nugu Landida. Okay. For 9 years ago. Webongo. Anybody wongo. Aha. Ayapo. I don't want to. Yeah. Now so. Baya. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, sugar. Now so we don't do am. Papa Tini Amayo. Mama Bora Megua. Mayo. Umaka Biafra Mama. Ayanano. Oboro Mayo. Oboro Braina Kwa. Ekene. Oh, Tito di Roba Siki Igwe. Ege Tito Kabi Amura. Onye na-eti ụzọ, ebe ụzọ na-adịghị. Odumala. Biafra, amen. Una.